of the mysterious closet of books.
Yeah, I think that's better. Okay.
That is impressive. A closet of books. Hello, everybody. If there's anybody there, this is wonderful to see you all. Not that we can see you, but fuck it. Obviously, as usual, it's going to be a very well-behaved and very well, languaged show because we really give a shit.
I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to be here.
No,
are we cursing?
Definitely not.
Is this a cursing event?
You can curse all you want, dude. This is us. Curse as much as you like. There is no rules like that.
Hi, Maria.
Hey, Maria. So, for everybody that's just joining us, because it's only the beginning, so I really hope you're just joining us and you weren't in the back room hearing the shit we were just spouting. I'm Jez, and I am joined tonight by the ever wonderful Michael Ritchey and Nathan Ameye, who is just a fucking gift at all times. Now, these
gift.
He is a gift. He is a gift. Every time you see him, you have to give him a hug. Yeah, look, you are the same. To be fair,
that's a good rule. I like that rule.
Oh.
Now, you might have noticed that Richie, do you have have you got a beer there as well, or Aaron, or have you got?
I have watermelon sparkling water. So
excellent.
No, you don't want to add alcohol to this. This is no.
Yeah, okay, fair point there.
Yeah,
I'm being very well behaved, and I've just got a small rum and coke. And
a little something, yeah. And beer. So we're cursing, we're drinking. Oh my god!
I have a white stout.
And we're going to talk dungeon accounting. This is all very irregular.
This is the way that we roll.
Hey, nice.
Did you submit the correct forms to create?
I didn't. It was returned to me with fill in correctly this time around. So
very nice.
This is one of the reasons we're here. I mean, the primary reason we are always here to do any kind of live is always just to shoot the shit and catch up with friends and let people ask us questions and just have a little bit of a catch up and chill out. But Rob might do. But we're here to talk about this little work of art because this is the wonderful Audit Team 6, which I've never read anything like this. I mean, who comes up with the dungeon accountants? You guys have got issues. You really
we do have issues, yes. I mean, I had this crazy idea about what was the bureaucracy around dungeons that had to happen. Like if you have the world of Shadowcroft or any other dungeon core kind of world, especially Shadowcroft, right, where it's got an academy and there's people who go off and defend the Tree of Life or the Tree of Souls, and who's making sure they do the job right. And so, we got to shooting the shit at a writing retreat about the whole idea of what is the undercurrent, what's behind the hood, not the hero badasses of the dungeon, the actual monsters running the thing, but all the people who are like, oh God, I just have to keep track of your, ROI.
Yep.
The real heroes are the auditors.
The real heroes.
They're mad. I'll agree with you there. They're definitely not sane. But I mean, who chooses to be an auditor, especially of dungeons, of all the places?
Well, and the weirdest twist, right, was the whole idea was about not just dungeon cores, but what if some adventurers who were dungeon raiders decided to switch to the good guys? Because in Shadowcroft's world, the good guys are the dungeons who are defending the Tree of Souls from greedy bastards who just want to suck all the Apothos out. And so if somebody realized the truth and converted, how would they be treated? And so now they're surrounded by a bunch of dungeon cores who are like, oh my God, we don't trust you. You're terrible. And so they keep trying to get booted out of the organization, but they're doing a good job.
And our main character, Calcanus, loves it. He loves the work. He loves auditing. He loves the bureaucracy, the Friday conference calls, the meetings, the paperwork, writing reports, filing, a PowerPoint. Yeah,
PowerPoint.
Oh,
no, and there are people like that. Like there are people who are like, oh yeah. Like detailed. My wife would be a very good dungeon accountant. Oh yeah,
my dude. But that's the thing, is reading
Hey,
it,
Paul.
that's what it made me think of. It made me genuinely think of a guy I used to work with, called Darren, who was really into, no, you've just got to do it right. You've got to make sure the forms are in correctly. You need to fill this out in triplicate. You need to make sure that one's, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because my brain,
the world
never
would
worked
fall
like that.
apart. The world would fall apart without those poor bastards, and we have to
No,
love him for it.
I worked at me and Nathan worked at software companies, so we've been around. And so I worked at a software company, and we never fixed our defects like on our product. We would just like document them, which because like tech writers are like cheaper than programmers, so we would document our defects, and I'd be like, "This is crazy."
Broken as designed.
Broken as designed.
Yeah.
So we eventually we wanted to become an FDA regulated device. So we had to like write up a process to fix our defects. And let me tell you, like the software like was amazing because of the bureaucracy of the FDA audits. And I did audits, right? I did FDA audits where they come in and look at our process and like, yeah. And so I guess I was channeling all that when I was writing the Cal character, because Cal like was like, yeah, if you have standard operating procedures, you do the same thing in the same way to get the same results. So some of it was ironic and some of it was my passion for process, which
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Also, the puns just kept coming.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I felt those. You fuckers. The thing is, it's one of those books where at first you're just like, what the fuck's going on here? What is going on? And then as it starts to pick up speed and the puns are coming, you're like, oh, you didn't. Oh, I can't believe you did that. Oh, no. But you're enjoying it. You're just like, I'll just have one more page. Just one more page. Just read the end of this chapter before I go to sleep. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with these two? I know there's a great long list. Yeah. How long have we got?
Yes,
it's mostly
Maria.
Nathan.
This was definitely some therapeutic writing for us, Maria, I think. We've both spent a little too much time around these situations.
Oh, good God, yes. I remember doing it myself, going into places and literally working in IT. The company that I worked for primarily did equipment. So my job in the company was equipment. So I'd be refreshing the equipment, going out and going, right, give me your old laptops, swap everything over, transfer the profiles, that kind of stuff.
And then you dig all the porn off the hard drives.
I had to drive to one site at one point, right, in Nottingham. So it's like 4.5 hours from here. And he insisted that I should be there because they were paying for me for the day. I had to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning until 5. It's because they're paying the daily rate because he couldn't transfer stuff over online. The remote. Oh, damn right, I made copies. Of course I made copies. Let's not be silly about this. But I drove down there and he was insistent. The problem was that the profile was too big to transfer remotely and I had to be there on site to transfer this over. And I rock up because it's like 60 or 70 gigs supposedly of stuff he's got on this hard drive. Not that big, but when you're doing it remotely with a shitty internet connection, you're like, I've got to do it.
Well, and back then it was a lot harder.
Back in the day.
Yeah, that was like a lot.
15 years. And I get there and I'm going through it, and amongst the other titles, the files that are popping up are Iron Hard, a XXX Iron Man parody. And I was like, oh, really? But at this point, this is the manager, right? This is one of the big bosses.
Yeah.
And he's standing here, and I go, could you read that out for me? What's that file? And he goes, I haven't got my glasses. Not a problem. And I put it on the screen, on the wall. Does that help?
Nice.
Does that help? Because
Awesome.
I've driven 4.5 hours to be here to transfer this for you. Had you removed this, I could have done it from my house. So, is there anything else like this?
Sort by size. Oh, look at that.
Sort by double XL. Oh yeah.
That's
it's
fantastic.
like with all the things. I mean,
that's why
really
you have
had to hold on to your Iron Man porn.
You have 20 monitors in your NOC, right? And a few of them are actually monitoring your systems, and the rest are playing movies.
Dude, that is wow. That is hardcore. Ha 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 ha.
which is not what we wrote into Dungeon Accountant.
No, it's
No.
it's no. There's no cursing. I was like, there's violence, but it's kind of like we kill a lot of people. Like a lot of people die, but it's
genocide.
not. But
It's
they're
not
all
gory,
bad, and
yeah.
there's no gore, right? It's just yeah, we
We're
kill
all
a
bad.
lot of people. So
It did.
But Cal is pretty reluctant to be violent, and so is Gwen. Even
he
though
doesn't like
she's
to fight.
capable. No, not at all. But they're good at like making the dungeon lord more effective.
Right.
Mhm.
They just don't like personal combat. They get all sweaty. Ew. Ugh.
You, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, who came up with the idea of the knitting mummy?
That in book 2, Miriam Mimi Drybone. Well, we were talking about
that?
It was kind of a Peru thing, and I think we were talking about because we wanted to do like end of the world, like what if all the dungeons on a world are lost, right? What happens to that world? Because worlds in our world, all worlds are connected to the Tree of Souls, and so that's how worlds get like life energy. So if you cut off all the life energy, what would happen? And so we wanted to do kind of this fun apocalypse where an entire world dies, and
Fun apocalypse.
a fun apocalypse, and all the kitten people that talk through hugs and love hats. Their culture is around the Teaklish. that was mine. I came up with the
yeah, that was all yours.
That was me.
I think Mummy might have been mine, but then like we bounce off each other so much when we're bullshitting about these ideas that it's hard to actually pin down whose is which.
No, but we wanted to do like an Inca Peru because like we had like
I was going to Peru.
That's why.
That's why. Yes. Like, I went to Peru this spring, so we were talking about the trip to do the Inca Trail and go see Machu Picchu, and I was like, let's take some elements of that culture and make this fictional world that was based in that culture, and that was kind of what kicked off the idea.
Did you see mummies? Did you see mummies in Peru?
Well, yeah. So there's a place where you can see across the valley a whole wall of little niches where they buried people, and so you can actually just stand there and see up these steep valley walls all the places where they had burial niches, and it was amazing. So cool. That was the same ruin where they had this beautiful sun temple. It was really neat.
I would love to go there. Honestly, it's one of those places that is on my list. With the family, we're going to go and we're going to.
It's awesome. So we can tell you all about it. So it's a great, like it was a 4-day hike up the Inca Valley, up the Sacred Valley on the Inca Trail. It's pretty physically demanding, but at the same time, like you're just carrying a few kilos in your pack, and you've got your hiking sticks and your water and snacks for the day. The
carrying
porters,
what? Carrying
a few kilograms of
kilos?
Gear, like 8
kilograms?
kilos. Yeah, I had
You're
to think
an
in kilos.
American. we have pounds,
I'm a
and
trader.
It's not the money. You said kilos. Did you say kilos for Jez?
Do you weigh things by like eagles or what?
So the thing is, they tell you your weight limit in kilos, and you're very precisely limited. Right, so you have a duffel bag, and the porters carry the duffel bag, and they're like, you can only put so many kilos on the porter's duffel bag, and then you carry the rest. So you're doing like math to prepare for this hike to make sure that you're not, violating they have to be reasonable, right?
Yeah.
And so these porters are like 5'0" 130 pounds soaking wet, but they are solid muscle, and they are rocking down this trail. There is I think the record for running it, because they have a competitive marathon on the Inca Trail, which is insane.
Yeah.
I think one of the porters did it in 2.5 hours. We took 4 days, and these guys do it with 50 kilos on their back, day in and day out. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
It's wild. So you see this porter with a pack the size of his body, more than the size of his body, and it's like all their kitchen gear and stuff. We went on my birthday, so they baked me a birthday cake. They're amazing.
Aw.
It was super cool. So we started the hike on my birthday and ended it on my wife's birthday, Darla's birthday.
Aw.
And
Nice.
it was just amazing. So highly recommended. Anytime anybody wants to shoot the shit about that kind of trip, I am game.
I would
Fantastic.
love to. It's one of those trips that is definitely on the list for me and my wife, and we want to take the kids. So
Yeah,
the
it belongs on the
plan-
bucket list.
well, the plan is that if we do it in sort of 10, 15 years' time, because mine are 4 and 6, that means that they'll be old enough to enjoy it and to be able to survive it, and I'll be too old to fucking do it. So then I'll be able to come up with some amazing excuse and get like a helicopter or something. Yeah.
I mean, there's some old,
Oh no,
old
I'll go
folks
see, but
crank it out, man. Yeah, half our group was from the UK, and there was an Aussie on the group. Like, we had an awesome group to do this trail with. It was so sweet. I think Darla and I were the only Americans on the hike, which is usually for the best.
yeah, probably.
Yeah, you need a
It was great.
palanquin.
Yeah, exactly.
I am fully on board with Rob's suggestion there. I'm just like, yes, give me some more break. Okay, do it properly.
Yeah.
Do it the way they meant to have it done.
It's kind of funny because the porters all cruise ahead of you and take all the gear, and they have all the camp set up. And then when you finally make your lazy ass into camp, they're all like clapping for you, and you're like, oh, this is weird.
And they've been there. It took them an hour to get there.
Yeah.
Oh, dudes.
It's
Honestly,
killer.
that would be incredible. Have you
So
guys
anyway, that was the
been to
inspiration.
pyramids?
Yeah.
Have
So
you been to the Egyptian pyramids?
I have not been to the pyramids yet. It's
No,
high
me
on the
neither.
list.
You need to. You need to. It's incredible.
Oh, so you've been?
Nice.
Yes. I've been inside one of the pyramids. 'Cause there's,
Did you see a mummy?
Wow.
I did not at the pyramids, but at the main museum in Cairo. You can go in and there's just, they take your phones off you when you arrive, so you can't take flash photography and stuff. But there's a room that's just full of mummies, like literally just full of mummies.
Room of mummies?
Yeah, it's fucking right. Because you walk in and you're just
Wow.
like, because there's just all these dead people. But
Yeah,
from
yeah.
3,000 years ago, laid alongside. You're like,
Oh my god,
That's
dude,
amazing.
that's a really. I'm waiting for that region because I'd like to do like a Middle East trip to do like Egypt and like Jerusalem, and I'm waiting for that region to kind of calm down. So
no.
a
You
couple
just
more
gotta-
years, I think we're good. So because like
Yeah.
you know
That's if we have nuclear war. That's when it will calm down.
that
Middle
would
East
be
does not calm down otherwise.
that would be less. That would be not ideal. So
Might be quiet. Though.
well, you know, at one point, like 50,000 years ago, that region was like, you know, anyway. So yeah, I would love to see the Egyptians
I think that would be
The-
awesome.
and the temples and like the Nile and like Cairo and yeah.
I went to see the pyramids themselves, but it's a really weird situation as well, because when you see these photos of it, you've got like miles of desert behind, and it's just like in the middle of nowhere, and that is all set up. It's one angle, and it's like you've got to be at just the right angle to see that, because all the way around the rest of the situation is the city. And
Oh,
it's
Isn't there like a
some
Dairy
city-
Queen? Isn't there like a Dairy Queen sign behind the Great Pyramid that you can take a picture?
If you're at the wrong angle and stuff, it's like it's
I've
ridiculous.
heard that.
But yeah, there's
God
the
bless
weirdest thing-
America.
Oh, the weirdest thing for me is if it was in the Western world, we would have like this amazing Hilton and things like that, beautiful big hotels at the entrance. They don't have that. What they have at the entrance to the pyramid complex when you rock up on your coach is loads of really shitty shops. And there's and people's houses and stuff all built 6 or 7 stories high, and they're all crammed in side by side, just like selling normal tourist tat.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
like-
big industry.
It is, but you think
Yeah.
anywhere else you'd have said, "I'm knocking all this down and I'm building a Hilton here, and I'll charge like $1,000 a night or whatever." No, nothing like that. It's just all little shops.
And tiny little apartments.
I mean,
Oh
I
my
kind
god.
of appreciate that, right? The local economy and the people
Oh yeah, but it's
really get a lot out of it. So it's weird though, the juxtaposition, right?
very much so. But it is
Strange.
amazing to see these things, and especially to walk up and to see the blocks themselves that are huge, massive pieces of stone. You can
Aliens.
climb up. Yeah,
Aliens.
something.
Oh my god.
Something. God
No,
alone knows.
dungeon cores. Dungeon cores.
Yes.
That would make more sense. But I do have to ask you a very, very serious question, right? And this is something that the rest of the world is actually genuinely very curious about with Americans. Okay. What is it with the anal probing?
I
Because
mean,
that's not a thing
like
anywhere
with-
else in the rest of the world.
Okay, so pyramids, big stones. How do you create the pyramids? Aliens created the
Aliens.
pyramids. Aliens also abduct people, and when aliens abduct people, they do anal probing.
I'm going to let Aaron take this one.
I love the way you threw him under the bus there.
This is
You
what
know,
co-authors
Jez,
are for.
I've written my fair share of. I've written. Yeah, from a purely scientific, you would want to see what comes in, what goes out. I think from a purely scientific, like, how do humans work, like figuring out what comes out and like how it comes out. I can see why anal probing would be, and also like you could be anally probed while you talk, right? So if you like,
Yeah,
if you go
so I
from
was
this
thinking,
thing, you'll be like, human.
I'm very chatty when that happens.
What do you like? What do you? And you're like, but then if like it's up your butt, you'd be like, well, most of the time I eat eggs and like proteins and carbohydrate. Right? You can like have a
I wouldn't
conversation.
be quite as calm. Just call me old fashioned, but I'm not quite so calm and laid back.
I mean,
doing that.
We know
you can get
how
used to
important,
anything, right? I mean,
like, our gut biome is very critical to our health. So, like, maybe they're just very concerned with our health.
Yeah,
I mean,
flew
that's
90
important.
trillion light years to come and have a look at your butt.
Yeah.
I'm in the wrong author persona to be having this conversation.
You are.
I have another author persona that I could talk about this.
You can log off and log back on if you
Yeah,
want.
I'm probably not going to. I try not to do. I try not to do. I try not to do events as Aaron Crash. So this
Yeah.
is my Aaron Michael Ritchey.
Maybe you should.
Wow, I did not expect to talk about anal probing.
Oh,
We are.
outed himself.
This was not on my. This was not on my
Jez,
segue into the aliens.
I like how Jez is just pretending this didn't happen at Stonehenge too. So it's not like just an American thing.
Well, that's the thing. In the rest of the world, it's kind of like, oh look, aliens took me. Oh, what happened? In America, whenever you see any program about it or read anything about it, it's like, aliens took me. They probed me.
I don't know how it became like the meme that it is.
In the UK, but in the UK, you had alien abduction stories, right?
There's a couple of them, but not very much. But it's all like aliens abducted and tortured and tested and stuff like that. There's never any mention of getting alien probed.
Maybe you're all a bunch of tight asses and you're not worth probing.
No, we're all just kind of like, well, it's not really worth mentioning. It's more of
stiff upper lip, right?
With shy stuff.
That Americans. Americans, we overshare. So I can see. I think all of the Brits got anally probed. They just didn't talk about it. Like Americans are like, fuck yeah, I got like shoved this shit up my ass, man.
Weirdly though, like we're more uptight, I think, as a culture.
Yeah.
Which is
Americans?
So fucking weird.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
we do overshare though. So at the same time, we're like uptight. And we overshare.
So we share a lot, and we're ashamed about it.
And we're very ashamed of it.
Yeah, we don't feel ashamed about any of it whatsoever.
Yeah.
We're like, have another one.
This is why I should move to the UK.
No, you use the word bugger, and bugger is a great word. I mean, that's good. That's really good.
It's usable in every situation.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite words.
You could say Brits talk more about anal sex than anybody, like Americans do, because in our vocabulary we don't have a word like in American slang. We don't have a word like bugger. We just don't. How are we talking about this? Why am I
know.
saying the
It's
words anal
magnificent.
sex
I mean,
talk?
Yeah, do we
My,
think somehow this is talking about dungeon accounting?
and our books are very
Why?
clean and they're very wholesome. We have
They're
a
almost
troll who eats
cozy.
cookies.
It's like
I
cozy
mean,
dungeon core.
except
Kronk
with
is
a lot
so
of
cute.
murder. It's
There
cozy
is a
dungeon
lot of
core with
murder.
so much murder. So, but only the bad people die.
If that's not a line for it, cozy dungeon core with
There's a
murder.
lot of murder.
With a lot of murder. That is your new
I
tagline.
mean, you meet a guy like Edgar, like the Edgar Knight, who's so edgy, the edgelord. You just want to see him die. Like that was a great character.
Good God, yes. It's the simple pleasures in life when you're like, you can get some.
Yeah, we made all the Dungeoneers like super douchey, and like
Oh,
you're just
yeah.
like, these people have no redeeming qualities. I mean,
he
you know.
calls his team the Edgelings.
Oh, that's so funny. I forgot about that. Oh
That
my
was
god.
great. They were
Oh.
great, and they have to do all the paperwork for Gold Cord Keeper.
That's right. They can't get to the dungeon because they have to fill out the right forms. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It was so funny too because the authors were like, we kind of want a couple of the team, like the bad guys, to come before the rest of the bad guys. We're like, what could separate the bad guys from each other instead of they all attack at once? And we're like, paperwork, of course.
Paperwork. Yeah.
So paperwork actually solved problems for us as authors.
Oh my god.
I've never heard anybody say that in my life. Paperwork solves problems. Think of
It's
all the
ridiculous.
things.
It was ridiculous.
And me and James wrote the Shadowcroft books, and that same air of wackiness like is in the Shadowcroft books. And so Nathan and I just took the wackiness and we also took the silverware jokes because we have a lot of silverware jokes as well.
We do. Yeah.
But we had a question, Nathan. What was the most fun part of your book to write? Hey, that's our book. Jez, you have copies of all the good. Oh,
look at this guy.
I have
The
some of the
most
good shit
fun. Okay,
what's the
I'll
most
go first,
fun?
and you go second because you.
What was this?
So, the most fun part of the book to write was, I don't know. There's a couple of moments that are really stand out to me. I think there's one where the bad guys, Cal's family, are
In book two.
This is in book 2. They're at a party, and they portal out of the apocalypse near the beginning, and they end up in this kind of skeevy gambling hall speakeasy place on accident, where this crime lord actually gets the hots for one of the bad guys, like one of Duchelis's, right? And so I think that was really fun to write because Aaron like left me this perfect opening where I thought we needed a little chapter showing Cal's family, the bad guys, appear trying to get back home. And I enjoyed that a lot. I think in a similar way in the first book, the Blood Beach party that Edgelord goes to. So that was another place where I got to like just kind of dig into Edgelord's douchery and show him cruising around this beach party and seeing the even douchier guild leader just getting it on with the girl that he thought he was going to get. And that was just such a fun moment. So I absolutely loved that. So I don't know. I guess I like writing douchey characters seeing shit go sideways. That was pretty fun.
It's good to see it. Good to see them paying the pain, isn't it?
Otherwise, in general, I think Kronk is really fun to write. He's just sort of dumb and sincere, and he loves cookies, and he worships the baker. And every chance he gets, he's like kind of questioning things in his own way, and I love that character. But Aaron,
Blar, the baker.
Keblar the baker.
Yeah.
And Aaron, to his credit, like I got kind of overwhelmed by real life issues, and Aaron had to wrap up the series. So I think in book 3, which is going to come out pretty soon, Aaron really took the reins and led off from there. So what do you think, Aaron? Do you have some favorites, either in the first books or the last one that you wrote?
Well, the last book is just bonkers. I mean, like it's just like so like I'm like a first draft guy, so I have no problem just like pounding out words. And we're I wanted to make an anal sex joke because we started talking about pounding, but I didn't. But like I wanted to, but I'm not going to. So I like to pound words on papers. And so like James would kind of reel me in because I would like go off, and then I worked with Nathan, and Nathan would reel me in, and I would go off. And in book 3, there's no one to reel me in. So it is like pure unadulterated shadow croftery.
So complete fucking madness.
It's fucking mad.
Yeah.
We got a 1 star on book 1, and it's like this book. What was it? It's like
this world doesn't make sense. I think that was our 1 star.
No. It was like mildly. This book was good if you like things that are completely crazy. So
I want to put that on a shirt.
I think that if that person reads book 3, I'm pretty sure they're going to go insane. So book 3 was so much fun to write, but the always the writing. I like the first draft, and so I like first draft stuff. But really the favorite part of any writing book, and with Nathan's an idea guy, right? So Nathan has like a million ideas. And so always the best part of writing a book is kind of like the brainstorming, right? Where you kind of come up and Nathan came up with all the characters. And the characters are so good. But then we would get together, we would outline. And when the outlining phase is fun because you're kind of telling each other stories, and you're like, well, what about this? And what if this happens? And then this could happen. And so the outlining process is super, super fun. And with James, it's James A. Hunter. We laugh and laugh and laugh. And like in book 3 of the Shadowcroft Academy series, year 3, I couldn't rein him in because he was like, no. They should get super into conspiracy theories. And I'm like, no, we can't. And knitting, and we should have like knitting. We should have like everything like crochet. And so I'm like, we're not adding crochet to this book, and we added a ton of
we
crochet.
did. We have
and knitting. So
yes.
So like the funnest part was like the outlining and coming up with the story ideas and like, kind of like and riffing each other. And then, I'm not a big editing guy. I don't really like to edit. I do it because it is a necessary evil in the world. But yeah, so like the outlining and then the initial chapter stuff was super fun. And Kronk, our paladin, he's a troll. So like in D&D, you had to have a certain level of charisma. Well, he has high charisma for trolls, but everyone else, he's kind of ugly.
Yeah.
And so when I played D&D, I had a friend who had a character who had high wisdom and low intellect. So they would be very wise about like the world and people and like, but like as far as like they were just dumb. And so he would say we would be role playing, and he would say, okay, I walk into the pit, I walk through the into the door that says gateway to hell, and I'm like, and then he would say low int, I am playing my character as if they are dumb, and then they would walk in. So that was kind of like, because Kronk is great, because Kronk is like, hey, I don't understand really what's going on, and then he would spout off this like these little drops of wisdom, and he's just like, wow, dysfunctional families make Kronk sad.
Yeah,
it was like so. Yeah.
So yeah, that was fun to write. I like all the characters though. I think Gwen is our sarcastic who has like daddy issues. Oh my god. And Helga's like, this little like halfling barbarian who's an interior decorator who's full of rage. I mean, oh my god.
And she rides a battle goat.
Hurricane Hoofclop.
Hurricane the goat. Yeah.
Hurricane loves eating everything.
And Hurricane is a boy, not a girl, because I would like genders. I would like forget her
all the time.
All the time. So that's why you have to have editing. See, editing is very important.
Yeah. Editing is. I'm with you on that entirely. It's a very necessary evil. But
Well,
it
what
is
about
so
you,
useful.
Jez? What's your favorite part of the writing process? I'm going to interview the interviewer. Wow, we're getting meta.
Ooh.
I just write. I tend to do just the first draft all the way through. I don't like to stop at all. Occasionally, I'll make notes and like I'll have to go back and fix that. And I just write all the way through to the end, and then I do another single pass, which usually takes me a few days, which is me reading through and going, "What the fuck was I thinking?" and putting in those extra bits. And then I send it off to the editors and I go, "You fix that, please." And I fix things when it comes back from them, and they're like, "This section makes no fucking sense." It's like, "Aha, that section needs work." As opposed to trying, because I tried before when I wrote Brightblade, I'd heard that you keep writing it until you get it perfect. You keep going through, and the theory behind it, obviously, as you guys know, is that if you write 100,000 words in a book, from word zero, you're a newbie at all this. But by the time you've written 100,000 words, you're 100,000 words better at what you're doing. So then, if you look at word zero, you're like, I can improve on that because I've got 100,000 words more of experience.
Yeah.
And that way lies madness, because you'll always be stuck in an infinite feedback loop.
It's true.
And Luke Shumlenko was the guy who said to me, like, edit it until you hate it and then throw it out the window, which I found to be a good way of doing it. Except I'm also too lazy and too short-tempered for that kind of shit. So I just do one pass and I'm like, fuck off. So what are you people for? Fix that shit.
You hate it right away. Other people are like, have more patience, but Jez is like, I do one pass and fuck it. Fuck this fucking motherfucking book.
I hate this book. Published.
So which part do you like though? So which part do you, the writing, the initial like that mad sprint that you're a first draft guy.
Oh yeah, totally. I love those discs. I'm a total pantser with it, where you are writing it and you're finding out the story as you're writing it, and you've got this plan that they're going to get to, Barad-dûr or wherever, and that's the plan. And your characters are going, "That's nice. I'm going to Miami." And you're like, "What the fuck?" And you're following along, just like writing this,
like,
and you look up, and you get to the end of the day, and you look up, and you've got like 10,000 words. And you're like, you feel physically drained. And I go downstairs, and wife will be like, "So have you had a good day?" And it's like, me, no word now, no word good.
Yeah, there's nothing left. Can't
the brain's
even talk.
Shut down.
Maybe you just need signs so you can hold up, feed me, put me to bed, beer me.
Maria just wrote something super interesting. She said, as you write, you see the episode the first time, and then edits or reruns, and that. But
it's a good way of putting it.
But they're reruns. But they're reruns that I'm a big fan of all the stuff I write, because I write a lot and I like what I write, and I don't have I just get captured by my own genius. And they're reruns, but they're reruns that are perfectly crafted for what I enjoy, right? And when I'm editing a book, especially that, I like that. Like the more I edit it, the more they're like reruns that I've seen a million times, and I'm like, this is stupid. But like that first, because Jez, I'm exactly like you. I just get to the end of the book and I'd be like, wow, suddenly there's like Eskimos, and I'm like, okay, I'll have to put Eskimos in chapter 2. I really am now liking that initial edit pass where I see stuff and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't work, or I really like that, and I'm going to double down on that, and you can kind of like see kind of different, right? And I'm enjoying that more and more. And it is like a rerun, but it's a rerun that I can fix, so I can be like, and then the next time you do it, it's like a rerun that's even better, because you're like, oh, remember what I added here? Yeah. So,
do you find when you finish the book and somebody will say to you like, "Oh, when you said such and such, and this character said this, I really liked it because," and they tell you these theories they've got about it, and you're like, "I've never heard of that character before in my life." To you, it's like, I don't know any of this shit.
Hey, it's Craig Hamilton. We love that guy.
And Steve.
I have a really good memory. But I'm slowly losing it because I'm old and I'm failing. And so I can I can I remember a lot of stuff about what but I've been where you are, Jez, where somebody says, "Hey, what about this?" And I'm like 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 Nathan introduced this whole secret society called the Mind's Eye, and we kept it secret, and I'm like, "Well, what is the Mind's Eye?" And he's like, "Well, I'm not really sure." And so I started book 3, and I forgot what the punchline was to the Mind's Eye. And so I was like, and then I was like, I just finished editing book 3 last week. And so I get to the punchline for the secret organization. I had to stop writing because I was laughing so hard. And I had to take a little walk because I was like, oh my God, that is so perfect. Oh my God. So I did. So yeah. So I think the older I get, the
Awesome.
more I'll forget and the more I'll enjoy editing because I'll just won't remember anything. So it's like, Alzheimer's, but like the positive side of dementia.
Goldfish writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That just happened.
But Nathan loves the refinement process. He
I
likes
do.
taking words and like really getting it right.
I like at the sentence level, like making sure that the words are flowing for that character in that voice and has the right cadence. I don't know. I like the poetry of it. And the weird thing is when I'm writing the first draft, I am too like ADD to see the whole picture. I see a slice at a time.
Yeah.
And so when I'm writing from a very narrow slice of perspective. And so I have to come back and go, oh, but what about this? And add that layer and layer and layer and layer. So editing is my life. Like it doesn't come out in the first draft for me, except in a very rough sense. Like I can rough draft it, but then so many new things appear each time I come back to it. And then eventually, like you guys are right, like eventually I have to freaking stop. That is really critical, or I never finish. And that's my problem, is I'm slow because of this process. And so it is painful. So I have to figure out as an author how to find the right balance between the two.
I think we all do at all times, though we're always changing how we do things, because otherwise we get nothing done. We never learn or improve.
Yeah, it's insane though, because I'll outline a whole book, and then by like the time I'm drafting chapter 12, it's gone. Like the rest of the outline is completely fucked.
Yeah,
and that's just the way. Because thinking through the first time helps me think it through the second time, and then it helps me think it through the third time, and it's a crazy process, and it's inefficient, but I don't know. I like it because it surprises me all the time. So people are like, "Oh, you outline. Where's the surprise?" I'm like, I get surprised all the fucking time because I have no idea if I'm going to destroy this outline every moment of the day.
So when you do you ever come across that where you think, like, I need to put in this, like, you suddenly figure out this great little twist to the story, and it's like, well, I need to put it in right now. And you're like, no, that would fit in really well further on, or I can put it at the beginning and be like, I want to put it in now because I've just thought of it. I'm really excited by it. I want to put it in right now.
You have to build. Yes. You have to build for the twist. You have to build. I'm a pantser, right? If I had $1 trillion and I was just like writing, like, I would just be a pantser and I would show up. But I don't have $1 trillion, so I have to do this for a living. So there's so much less editing when you plot it out and outline. And so I've really embraced outlining, and I've found the joy and the pantsing in the outline. Because, like, yes, I know kind of how I want it to end, but getting there, the journey and crafting and like experiencing it, and man, more and more, like I would rather just write books and live real life, like, because like the more I write, I just get lost in like these worlds and the characters and so I don't know. I've fallen in love with it. It was hard for a long time, but now it's super easy. So I guess
interesting
that's good.
Because I kind of agree that if I want to keep up, like you said, I have a million ideas, right? So if there's any way in hell I'm going to keep up with the speed at which the idea is going crazy in my head, it has to be the ugliest, shittiest thing ever. And it might as well just be an outline. It's just a bunch of bullet points to me. Because then the movie starts playing in my head and I can see it. Like I've talked to James, like we've talked to James Hunter a bunch about the way he processes stuff is not visual. He cannot see the image in his head at all.
I know, it's super weird.
So he purely processes it in text, which is a completely different experience of the story, which is really interesting. So we've shot the shit for hours just talking about the different ways to think about story.
Psychopath.
For me, yeah. For me, it has to play out in my head, and I have to kind of try to follow it. But if I don't outline, I can't catch it fast enough. So that's why I outline.
I tried outlining once, and I did. Oh yeah, we tried outlining for Artem, the series that shall never be named. But I tried outlining for Age of Glass, and I wrote the whole plan, got the whole thing, and I was halfway through Age of Expansion, which is the next one in the series, when I found the outline for Age of Glass. And it was like, I completely forgot about that as soon as I wrote it. Fuck.
Yep.
That would have been really useful to have referenced or read.
I mean, there's some value just in having gone through the thought process and then thrown it the hell away and come back to it from scratch, because the things that you actually duplicate are probably the most important things. And the things that you don't remember from the first pass probably weren't that great anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it helps that you're crazy. I mean, both of you are fucking insane. In different ways, but in wonderful ways.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh really?
No, I'm not right. I'm special. I'm just
You are special.
I'm special.
You're very special.
It's really delusion, right? I mean, I think being an author, like, and it's not just like deluding myself and writing and working on characters and stuff. I think the whole career of being an author, you have to be like, I'm going to write this and people are going to read it and it's going to be awesome. And then
you can't write it otherwise. Yeah.
So,
like, that's led you to what, 60 books now published, 70 something written, like
written like 78.
You're a machine, man.
Well, I love it, right? This is exactly what I want to do with my life.
So much fun.
Yeah, like 59. No, I think 58. I don't know. It's a lot.
We're gonna have a party for number 69.
Ah!
Hey.
69.
Nice.
Giggity, giggity.
Nice. What are you trying to say, Craig?
No, I love it. I'm gonna do this until I drop, right? I mean, you know.
Yeah.
And
y'all are invited to read my books. You don't have to. I mean, because I get enough enjoyment out of my, you know.
They are damn good fun.
Absolutely have to.
Like I was saying, there's a reason that I've got this one right here. Shadowcrow.
Oh, that's so good.
I mean, I will just say as well to anybody that hasn't read this, this does give you a wonderful insight into Aaron Michael Ritchie's world and madness, because he should be medicated at all times.
Why?
The best way of
what?
And yet I really recommend it as well, because it's great fun.
Now, it's a lot of fun.
But
now, James insists that he's Logan because he's the vet, and I am Marco because I'm basically a satyr, and I disagree. I think I am not Marco. I think Marco is Marco. Logan is Logan. So, oh no! And the Shadowcrow books get like crazier and weirder as they go. So, now we're gonna do book 4. Me and James are gonna do book 4, like at some point. So
I hope so.
And we cross over, right? So we have actually some, because Dungeon Accountant came out about sort of in the middle of all of this. They reference each other a little bit.
Yeah, Dave Weavelord makes an appearance in Shadowcroft 3, year 3. So
another great character. We actually had a reviewer on Royal Road who was like, "Oh God, this is too true to life." Like this, I'm out of here.
Just like, I can't
He
do this
just
anymore.
he completely bailed. He was like, "Oh my god, I have enough of this shit in my real life. Forget it." As soon as he met Dave, he was
Yeah, Dave was a bad boss. He's a bad
Oh.
boss. Now,
We've all had
Jez,
them,
though, so you're liking my silly. These are funny books, but
Yeah.
but your books are very serious.
I didn't write them intending to be very serious, and a lot of the banter between the characters, I always feel that in the situations that I put my characters into, I feel that their reactions would be very serious. And I write grim stuff. I tried when I first started trying to write. I read primarily The Land and a bunch of the other like first released ones, like Send Online and stuff I've got behind me there. I read those and I tried to write that, and I saw that Dakota stuff and James's stuff was much more upbeat and like less painful, and I tried, and I genuinely tried to write like that. And by about 4 or 5 chapters in, every single time I was like, this is totally fucking different. It's not going in the same, it doesn't feel the same at all.
Yeah.
And I just went, you know what, fuck it, I'll just write the way that I want to write it.
Yeah,
and a few people turned around to me when I was launching it, when I reached out for people, and they're like, it'll never work. You're going to have to change the direction totally. It's too dark, it's too miserable, too grim. You've got to change the direction. And needless to say, I didn't, because I couldn't. Not because I was like, I know best. It was just like, yeah, I can't fucking do that. It's grim for me. And it worked out. But I feel that the way the characters interact and the way that they respond to the world when this shit happens is as real as I can make it. So,
I mean, I think that's a huge truth to writing, is being true to the character is one of those critical things that pays off. And that's what, like, Stephen King, for all of his verbosity and giant bloated long books, like, can have these moments that are so true to the story and the character in that moment, in their fucked up headspace, and the fact that humans are weird, crazy creatures. It reveals some truth about character, and I think that's one of the things that he's best at. And I think if you stick to that, and you did, then it pays off. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think we write the stories that we want to write. It's the characters that speak to us, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Because we're fucking mad.
And it's pretty cool because you did that at a time when the genre didn't. It sort of filled a gap in the genre, which is interesting. So, like, there is dark, grim storytelling that actually hasn't done really well. And I think there's moments of levity mixed into the grimness in your writing that is powerful, right? And we know people who deal with grim situations all the time. Like, we have a bunch of friends who are vets and Marines and, corpsmen, and they have this fucking sense of humor that, like, in a grim environment and scenario, the humor is critical and it's different. Yeah. And if you can be true to that, then you get both sides of the coin, and that is awesomely powerful. And that's how we deal with grimness as people in a lot of ways, is that we joke about it, we laugh about it, and we go, oh fuck, and then we deal with it. And that's pretty cool to say and to be able to write.
It is, dude. You nailed it there. Thank you. Yeah, that's very, very true. That's what you aim for.
I think that's the difference between grim that people really glom onto and grim that is wallowing, or it's just hard to take. Yes. So people love that.
Yeah.
But some grim stuff is just, it's so fucking exhausting that it's hard to take without that levity and without that sick sense of humor.
I think it depends on
we like.
Yeah, and it depends on who you are as well, because some people have said that they can't get through my stuff at all. It's just too grim for them. And other people have been like, it's like fucking joke. It's great. And
it is all relative.
The level of shit that you go through in your life, I think, that gives you sort of that, like, I can totally see this. Or the other side of it, of course, is I've got enough shit in my life. I don't need to read this kind of shit as well. Which
like Dave.
But, so when I'd not long released it, and somebody said, "Oh, it's grimdark," and I'd never ever heard the term before, and read some of it, and the grimdark that I read was very much like, oh, it's a bit of a slog.
Yeah, I think you're not fully in the dark depths of Grimdark.
Dancing on the edge.
I think so, and I think that's a good thing. Obviously, it's worked out really well.
Yeah, it's worked out well for us. Have you guys read Robin Hobb? Is it Soldier's Son or something like that? Do you know which book I'm talking about?
Yeah, what is? I'm trying to.
Because I tried reading that, and it was just that was the
Oh, is
one
this
for
the
me.
Black Company? No, Black Company
No.
is different.
No.
It's So she wrote was it the Royal Assassin, Fool's Assassin,
Yeah.
that stuff, right?
Those, but I'm sure it's Soldier's Son or something like that. That it's just, it was too much for me.
Yeah.
Because every time the character starts to get a little bit ahead, he's just stabbed and beaten down and broken again, and it was like, oh. So when somebody had said to me, like, oh, your stories are really grim and really, I was like, oh God, shit.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But I think, that Glenn Cook. But I think,
Yeah.
like with Lit RPG, even though your stories are dark, there's this like progressing. There's this like, things are hard, but we're keep fighting, we're keep grinding, we're making it better. So I think writing, I would love it if like horror Lit RPG like really did well. Because I would love to write like a horror Lit RPG where you have like sanity points, and you're like, oh my God, I have to spend some sanity points. I would dig that. But so I think like with RP, it's escapism, right? But it's escapism on like, and I tried to write a cozy fantasy. So on Royal Road, you can read Dark Lord's Diner.
Yeah.
And one of the reviews was like, this is cozy fantasy on hard mode. And I'm like, oh my God.
Interesting.
Which means it's not cozy fantasy because it's hard mode. And I'm like, oh my God, I messed it up. So,
but then again, I mean, what we're doing is you're looking at it by degrees, aren't you? Of this is like really, really cozy fantasy where there's absolutely no. This is basically like Stardew Valley.
yeah,
There's no consequences. Everybody's like la la la, and this is like the far end of the spectrum, and you just sort of you take it in little degrees all the way across, and it's. All of us have tastes, especially depending on the day. I mean, I don't know you have those days where you're just like, I need something fucking grim and violent and not my sex life. And it's just like, where do I go here?
Are we talking about porn? Are we back to talking about anal sex? Are we talking grim and violent?
Probing.
What are we talking about? Probing.
Yeah,
last night my wife and I watched a show called Kevin Can Go Fuck Himself. And it is grim, and it's like half sitcom. So you have like the dad who's a sitcom and the husband who's a sitcom, and he's like ha ha ha, and then it goes to the wife, and it's for her, it's real life, and it is so grim. It is so grim and weird. And I was like, I don't think I can, dude. I need to I don't know if I can watch this, because sometimes I just want like popcorn, man. Sometimes I just want I just want something that's big and dumb and fun, like Marvel, right? Sometimes I just want to watch like superheroes, like banter, and like, they have tragedy, but they're still fighting the bad guy and win. And
you always know they're going to win. Yeah.
And then other times I want like hardcore horror where everyone dies and like, right. So
I can remember years ago reading a book where the main character gets towards the end, and it's about the last 80 or 90% of it, the main character dies, loses. And I can remember that he did that, and I can remember that the story went on from that point, but I can't remember anything about that, just that I was so like, what the fuck? And I've been looking for that for years, because I was like, that's what we need. I need a twist like that. Where people are like, hey, this is what the fuck? He's dead? Just like, it wasn't Game of Thrones, by the way, it was something else.
And notice Game of Thrones doesn't kill off. They kill off of characters, but they don't kill off like Tyrion Lannister never dies because he knew, right? I mean, you know where your bread is buttered. Bread is buttered. Which side of the bread?
Yeah, if you're buttering your bed, it's a completely different thing. We're back to sex.
It's your bed.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Are we talking about anal sex again? Thomas Covenant, yeah, dude. I read Thomas Covenant, and it kind of I was like 12, and I'm like, What
I
is
was
this?
the same. Yeah.
What is going on with this?
Whoa.
This guy doesn't want to be in
Whoa.
a fantasy world, and I'm like, what? Why would you not want to be in a fantasy world? So
Unreal.
Oh, guys, I love you guys. Are you going to be in Vegas?
I'll be in Vegas. So
I'm not
Oh,
going to
you're
make it
not, are you?
Vegas. No.
Yeah.
and then I'm never traveling again. That's it.
You've been traveling a lot.
I'm going to Vegas and I'm coming
Aaron
home
Michael,
and I'm never traveling again.
were
You're
you
right,
in
Nathan.
Chicago recently?
Yeah. No.
How'd that go?
It was fun. I talked with
Yeah.
my friend Jamie Garner and like
Nice.
had a little book event and it was fun.
Awesome.
No, it's been crazy. The travel's crazy. So
Yeah.
So you didn't ask about our shirts, and we're kind of wrapping this up, right? We do this for an hour.
Well, we do as long as we want to do. There's no rush.
Okay.
If you want to wrap it up, we can. But let's
Did
talk
you
about your
say
shirts.
rub it up? Did you rub it out? Rub one out?
If you're rubbing it out. If you're rubbing one out on the show, it's a bit of a different show. But
This is why
No,
Jez
it's
has
not really.
the smart camera. The camera follows the action. So if the camera starts panning down, everybody look away. It's not good.
Very seriously, the amount of time, because I talk so much with my hands, it's like, look,
It's a pretty cool camera.
Do
So
you-
Chatfield got one too, and it kept like
Yeah.
zooming right into his nostril.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is awesome.
is it like an out above me?
So it's automatic. It's like AI following you,
It
Yeah.
is.
dude. And you have that fancy microphone. Oh my god!
Very fancy.
And you do it like this. It's like
Yeah.
you're like,
I do this all the time.
oh my god.
Yeah.
Do you
I have
have
a-
one too?
I have a $29 microphone, and then no, it's just a normal camera.
I got this because the cameras here, I had 2 or 3 of them, and they were fucking terrible. And in the end, you just go, right, that's it. I'm just going to buy a good one. And this one was on offer. And it was like 500 quid, and they had it on for 199. I was like, that'll do. I'll just buy that, and then I don't need to buy anything else. So, and then I had no clue that it was as intelligent as it is, because I think it's the most intelligent thing in my room by a long mark.
No, you're the
Oh, yeah.
most intelligent thing. You're a human being. Homo sapiens.
I'll agree with
sapien.
thing. Definitely thing. So, guys, have you guys been playing many games of late?
I've had no chance. It sucks. I have no chance lately. We're actually trying to move, so being in the middle of the
Where are you
move,
moving?
Colorado.
What?
I have so many friends there. Yeah, so we're in the midst of moving.
From backwoods like Missouri
Yeah.
to, are you moving to Alamosa? Are you going to go like,
We're gonna go to the western slope. Yeah.
to like Grand Junction?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Grand
So
Junction.
we'll get together in person.
Well, yeah, and I'll go mountain bike. There's great
Can't
mountain
wait.
biking
Oh,
in
yeah.
Grand Junction and
It's gonna be
Fruita
amazing.
and-
That's a beautiful place.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Oh.
Yeah, and cheaper. Like Front Range, you can't afford anything.
Oh, it's
So-
crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So
Yeah,
gaming,
I want to play
Crazy.
video games.
No, I'm just thinking because it's so weird to us, because all of England, I mean, it's literally for us. There's just the north, the south of England. You've got Scotland, you've got Wales, you've got Ireland, but it's prices. Unless you're in London, the prices are pretty much the same for everything
Oh
here.
really?
And it's a case of there's nothing like I could outside of my window here. It's dark here, obviously it's late at night, but it's a case where I'm in the middle of a housing estate, and there are, the way that we've spread out in the country, there's no forests left. There's no big forests left. There's just small woods. There's a lot of farmland, which isn't used as much as it used to be, but it's just farmland. You can't cross it pretty much. There's places you can go biking, but very few of them. They're pretty much old, like railway tracks, where they've taken the railways out. And that's about it. So when you talk about things like when Nathan's talking about coming across and going to these places, and when you're saying about going mountain biking in these wonderful, I see videos of it. And I look at it and it's like, yeah, we don't have anything like that in the UK.
Yeah.
There's
very
places
different.
that I could go to in Wales or in the Lake District. So either a 3-hour drive away or a 4-hour drive away that I could go and cycle. properly. But beyond that, I might as well be cycling around estates with like housing estates.
Oh yeah,
So,
it's totally different.
yeah.
Yeah, America, we're big. No, I want to play. Okay, Jez, you may be able to help me with this, or like we have the people on the side, Diablo 4 or Baldur's Gate 3?
Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's
Yeah.
Gate 3?
No hesitation. Yeah.
No hesitation.
I agree. And
Okay.
even I've only played like a few hours here and there of each, but Baldur's Gate was awesome.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate is much, much better. I would also say, I don't know if you'd seen it came out. I'm trying to remember the name of it here.
Dragon Age.
Oh, we got Dragon Age. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tempted to like suck at life for a little bit to play that.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, Dragon Age?
Yep, the new Dragon Age game came out. And if you liked Dragon Age Inquisition, this is nothing like it.
Oh, that's
The
really?
Inquisition, you know how the storyline where it's a bit more grim and it's a bit dark and Dragon Age, none of that. It's all like
No shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Why? That was all the fun.
It's £60 for the game. Most games are around 40. It's 60 here for that. And I bought it for release. Thought, yeah, fuck it, I'll play it. And if you buy it on Steam, if you play it under 3 hours, you can return it. And I returned it yesterday.
Wow.
And I was like,
Damn.
if it's on sale for like $20, like £20 or something, it's probably more than worth it. For 60, it's not good. It's not bad, but it's one of those games where you go, oh yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
But I'd like not pick it up unless there was an offer on it. Just because it's that, like you make decisions, and you make decisions of like you're going to do like a good thing, you're going to do a bad thing, and it shows you the text at the bottom and says like telling like, oh, I'm going to hell with this, I'm going to be really aggressive. Yeah. And you go, ha ha ha, I don't like you. And it's like that kind of like, where's the option? That's not what I picked. And you really railroaded into this I'm a good guy character. And I know it's a hero game, so you are supposed to be the good guy. But if it's that, then don't give the option to be a dick.
Don't even present it, right? Just
right.
take it away. Weren't you into Starfield for a while?
Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Do you like that?
Yeah. I really enjoyed that one because that's open and you can do what you want to do.
I kind of played it for a while. I still pop back into it just to go like melt rocks and shit from time to time just for nothing. Right.
I like just just plow into the middle of like the enemy bases and then just start kicking shit out of people.
Yeah.
I'm a very simple creature.
I just wander around and shoot stuff and like, okay, I don't have to think for a few minutes. It's great.
Yeah. But that's what I like. But for me at the moment is Civilization 6. I'm on a massive Civ set.
Oh, yeah.
Civilization. Nice. And number 7 comes out in February. So
God, my friend left Civilization. Oh, that's fun. No, when I write on my second monitor, I have like video game trailers and like cutscenes, and so I see all the video games, but I never get to play them. And so I do play Minecraft every once in a while. Does that count? I just mine mindlessly, like
I mean, that's part of our genre, right? Is writing for people who don't have time to game anymore.
It massively is, because that's what the genre is for us, or for me anyway. It's when I first started reading it was because I didn't have the time to play at all. I didn't have the space in my life for it or the money. So this gave me that.
Yeah. No, Craig Hamilton's playing Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Oh, look at that. Hey! That looks pretty good.
I've heard of that. I have not tried it yet.
Oh.
Yeah. I was looking at that. I think I have it on my Xbox. Is it?
Oh.
I'll have to look at it.
For me, I've got...
Made the mistake of opening RimWorld again. That's funny.
Oh. What is it? Looking through Dyson Sphere program. Shema Kuznets got me into that. and it's
Yeah.
ridiculously addictive because you just like, I'll just tweak these little factories to make like the whole production line a little bit smoother, and I'll just mine some of that, and I'll just
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Just
6 hours
little
is
by
gone.
little.
You're like, fuck.
What did I do? Totally.
Yeah. Really easy to lose yourself. But go on, guys. So, what is the crack with these t-shirts? Considering you're both on them.
I had one. I did play the video game Scorn, which is like a H.R. Geiger, like super weird, like sci-fi horror. Like it was fun. It was weird. It was weird, and the puzzles were like a little, and the combat is like non-existent, but just like the atmosphere and the weirdness of it. So it's super weird. Scorn, survival horror adventure game. No. And I've been playing indie. My daughter's like getting a degree in music and sound design, and so for video games. And so we've been playing a lot of indie video games, like Little Nightmares is super fun. There's a weird sci-fi, weird horror game called Albino Lullaby, and the second one is coming out. It's
heard of
like
that one.
independent, super weird. Oh, it's just like, oh my god. No, so the shirt.
Yeah.
Whoopi Jack.
And the Sandy Muffin. And then on the back is can you see? I can't see.
Yeah.
Show us your ass, Aaron. Probing time.
Shaking that ass.
There
Shaking
you
that
go.
ass.
I see you, baby.
A little twerk.
So Dungeon Account was Audit Team 6. So with the Whoopi Jack, so they redesigned this dungeon and they give it a water park theme. And so the water park is called Whoopi Jack.
Yes.
And so in the Sandy Muffin. And there's a t-shirt shop, and we have another t-shirt that says, I survived the
Scuzzwater Depths. That's the name of the dungeon, is Scuzzwater Depths.
Scuzzwater Depths.
So
and
Whoopi Jack is one of the heroes in Scuzzwater.
So of our fictitious dungeon themed.
What is wrong with you two?
That was Nathan. We originally wrote this as a novella, and it was all very much simpler. And then we're like, no, we should do a trilogy. And so we need to have we need to redo a redesign. And Nathan was like, what about a water park? So he sent me all these
we're starting all these water park pictures and stuff.
So
how do we make this horrible?
Yeah, it's great. The Lazy Kill River. No, it's super good. It's super good. So Nathan had t-shirts made. So
we needed them for Dragon Con. So we made Whoopi Jack t-shirts and Scuzzwater Depths t-shirts.
And stickers. We have stickers.
We have the cutest little stickers. And then we have badge tags that said "Slime Me Baby" one more time.
And I was at Mile High Con.
Exactly. I have to give full credit to Darla, my wonderful better half, for actually doing all of that.
We love Darla.
She did an amazing job.
Darla is just fucking wonderful. She is lovely. But I do have to ask the question, the Mile High Con. Because the Mile High Club is obviously a very specific.
This is not like that at all. This is no, it's a local sci-fi fantasy con in Denver. We're the Mile High City because we're like a mile high above sea level.
Right.
So
it's the oldest fan con in the country, I think.
They've done it for 56 years. They started in 1968. Is it the oldest? Wow.
I think it's the oldest constant contiguous fan con for sci-fi and fantasy in the country.
Wow.
It's small, it's not a huge one like Dragon Con, but it's been around forever. And it Connie Willis shows up every year. She's fantastic and amazing. We have incredible guests. I've spoken at it a couple of times, but I don't think you were there that year. And then Aaron, you went this year and I missed it. Didn't you?
Yeah. I'm gonna go there I've fallen back in love.
I'm hoping to next year.
But we're gonna do Lit RPG, the Lit RPG live convention in Denver in 2025.
Yeah. So excited! I'm gonna be a local for that. Well, more local than I am now.
So it's gonna be super fun. Hey, I do need to go. So I hate to be the guy. I hate to be that guy. I'm that guy.
It's a disgrace. Right. I will hate you forever. So just very, very quickly then, thank you guys for jumping on with me. Before you go, is there anybody that you want to give a little recommendation for? Any books that you've read recently that you think deserve a little bit of a heads up? Doesn't have to be somebody that's new. It can be somebody that's established, but that you've really enjoyed their books. Is there anything like that you want to promo for them, essentially?
What have I read recently that I love? I'm enjoying Dead Tired. I like 100th Run is really fun. Time Lock Warlock was really fun by Shami Soval.
Yep.
Was really good. There's just so much good stuff like that. There's like a million awesome stories. Yeah, exactly. Time Marked Warlock. So that was a lot of fun. What the heck else? I don't know. Any of yours, Aaron, on your list lately? I just go through so many.
That Discount Dan's Backroom Bargains by James A. Hunter is like super, super, super good and funny. No, I've been reading a lot of Bruce Centaur. And it's more harem-y, but it's like he's just such a good writer, and it's not like hardcore harem, but it's just like it's like the world building super good. He's super talented. And then Will Power's Bloodshaper, the Splintered 5 saga. And Will
is awesome. He's super fun to hang out with. He was a delight at Dragon Con. James Islington, The Will of the Many, is a fantasy that I read recently, and it's really good.
Oh yeah.
Some nice extra ones to add in. For me at the moment, I am working my way through this entire series from scratch.
Kevin is awesome. Now that it's
Magnificent Kevin Sinclair.
I should just start it over from the beginning because there was a little bit of a delay, so I need to just start it over because it was awesome. Kevin is fantastic.
We released Book 6 yesterday, so for me, that's what I'm doing at the moment. Working my way through from the beginning to the end.
So excited!
I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Are you kicking Lars around for Theft of Decks too? I hope.
Oh yes.
Good.
It's in at the moment, so that won't be long.
Still a Swede. You can't rely on them.
I know. But it is very important to everybody that you must remember that if you ever meet Lars Mackmuller, he is Swedish. No matter what he tells you, he is Swedish. And it's very important that you make sure that you understand that and repeat to him that you know he's trying to fool you. He is definitely Swedish.
Lying bastard.
All right, guys.
Okay. Thank you all, guys, and we'll let you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'll see Jez. I'll see you in Vegas. Boom. Couple of weeks. All right. Auf Wiedersehen.
Ciao. Ciao, ciao.